Africa.
Beloz, why are you the talk? Not so we get this program.
Now we not the husband material.
No, we not husband material.
Ole,
Never.
are we good to go? And please, I would like you to speak English. I don't...
Now, we always hear that the best story is a love story. This story is a story about being a professional in Sierra Leone. The battle between job satisfaction and job security. The difficulty in choosing between being an employer and being an employee. The struggle to be an entrepreneur. This is a story about going rogue.
Negro, pull the trigger, kill the nigga, he's a hero. Get it crack to the kids, to the healthcares. One less ugly mouth on the welfare. Four shit and
Barrios delirious.
Digitata.
Will there be a fourth this December?
Well, it's very, very likely.
Okay.
It's like I said, I don't give up. Giving up is not part of my character. It's not ego, because if it were, I would not say I suffered a bloody nose. It was no fun. My family had like a really bad Christmas, I would say that. And this is you know, I said I was going to talk about like the lowest in entertainment, okay, and also on the personal note. So maybe I'll just speak about the personal note. Like, my wife had to go all out just to try to cheer me up, because I could not believe it's like a black hole. Like everything just disappeared into thin air.
Yep.
I was like, even if I just recouped the money spent on the lead act, I would have been, that is how bad it was. And then I said, even if it were their air tickets, I would still be fine. But I wasn't. But that is the way, that's what we know, aside from armchair critics, apart from this, we know na basic bad that. There are a lot of people who are like, oh, why not they do and kabaka fise na sabi out? And it's no, this is just one sector. I would be glad to see several others doing this or doing much more. People also creating a name for themselves or creating impact in different industries. That is what I want to see. That is how we see Sierra Leone grow. When Nigeria was about to take over the Afrobeats, Two-Face Idibia, these were like the progenitors. Then you heard about the Don Jazzies. Then you had the P-Square. They are still around today. But people like Burna Boy are selling out stadiums. The London Stadium, 70,000 capacity, sold out 2 weeks ago. Wizkid. These people are selling out auditoriums across the globe. Okay, and these are our neighbors, 2.5 to 3 hours away, and they are not better than us.
Do you think we can ever get there?
Oh, of course we will. But first, so when people talk about our numbers, I'm like, shut up, man, because we have our population is bigger than Jamaica. Now tell me when it was the reggae time. The reggae time. Look at how reggae influenced Jamaica, and even now it's the Afrobeats era. There are countries, there are places, even Ghana is doing well. Okay? I mean, and I just feel we have to do more. Just like with soccer, we are always limited. And there are tests. I tell people, I started the entertainment thing, but I'm looking at my 10-year-old son who will come in 20 years' time. We don't believe in, let me tell you, we don't believe in building. We don't believe in building infrastructures that will stand the test of time. That is our biggest problem. So if I started in 2018 and I had a bad show and I give up, with all due respect, I feel like I feel like it would have been too soon. So I feel there's a time you take to build, just like all these banks. If a new bank wants to come to Sierra Leone, of course they won't say we are making profits as in today. They will know that in the next 2 years we won't break even. We'll be paying staff, we'll be paying rent, electricity, and all. But they know when that happens, that moving forward it will be good, because they've built an infrastructure, and nobody understands that today. But now there are a lot of things happening, a lot of mileage that was gotten from what we have done, from what I have done, from what KME has done. And even if they don't give the credit, the international recognition that we enjoy today, I can tell you most of it came from the exposure from EcoFest. all these artists coming, Diamond Platinum, say I'm going to Sierra Leone, Josie Camilo, I'm going to Sierra Leone, Master KG, the P Squares, Rema, all of them, because they have millions of followers combined. And so people know about us. So some of these guys out there, who they also are yearning to come to Sierra Leone. So some of my friends or people in the industry are now reaching out, and they're getting good deals because they know something is happening here. But we only have to keep that pace and support each other. And that is the support that we are not getting. But it doesn't mean that if I don't get support now, that I won't get it later on. So as it is right now, I will tell you, I'm very much poised. We, the team, everyone is poised. We're looking at, events as they unfold.
Okay.
We are in the middle of the year. Ordinarily, we know by now we would have come out with a date. Like, this is June, but the season, this is like election season. I feel nobody is in the mood for any festival as it is.
Absolutely.
Not, until we get the elections out of the way. And of course, we are praying for a peaceful election. We want everything to be calm. Eventually, we are done, and then we are good to go. Then we'll make an announcement. Then we'll see where that will head. Then we'll call upon more Sierra Leoneans, to support us, because that's where that's the biggest problem. So yes, I know that the law practice is suffering. I still tell people it is because I'm a lawyer. That's how I still make my living. So, a lot of people feel when you're a lawyer, you have to go to court every day. And that's when they see the bib, they see you with your wig. And that's why they see some of our colleagues, even when they are not in front of a judge, they have their wigs on. Some guys will wear their gowns and walking along Shaka Stevens Street. Like, dude, you're not in court.
But you still do have a wig and gown.
I don't know where it is.
I found mine the other weekend, neatly tucked away. I will keep that as a souvenir. But, it's interesting that you mention, a lot of people think you have to go to court for you to be a lawyer. I know one of the big things, even within the Bar Association, was the whole conversation around, the non-practicing bar. And they'll always look, at things from that perspective of, well, the real lawyer, then the lawyer, they really can court, But who says every lawyer is meant to go to court? Who says every lawyer is meant to practice? There are people in different facets, different spaces. Sierra Leone Bar Association, you were actively involved. You became PRO of the bar and all of that. There was a time when Kabaka was the lawyer's lawyer. You had your own practice and everything. Just like I tell people, there's a law firm out there that has my name on it, and people wonder, but why just go sit on there? And I always say, if it's not there, it's not there. Do you think there would ever be a time, maybe somewhere in the future, where you will transition to just being a lawyer fully? Or you think this is the path you're always going to work? Do you feel there may ever be a time where you phase out of practice completely and entertainment, if things line up the way you anticipate that they will line up?
Well, I feel I enjoy the unique situation I'm in. Like, I feel I can be called upon tomorrow. I get myself in a suit, get my wig on, and go to court. I enjoy that privilege, the fact that I am called and I'm always, going to be a lawyer, and will always be able to do that. That is not something I will ever ditch. Like, I will never make a decision like, I'm so comfortable doing this, I don't want to go to court again. Okay. For me, I feel there's fun in advocacy, like being an advocate and being a solicitor. I have clients who call me, I don't have to go to court. I do paperwork, I get paid decent fees,
get you 10%,
and I'm good with it. I feel it puts food on the table, and I tell my artists, this is what pays for those beats and all these videos and stuff and all these things. It is the practice, because the entertainment industry, it's the hope that tomorrow will be better than today, but the practice is always there. So I never want to be in a situation where I feel I won't be the lawyer's lawyer. Like, I won't be getting to court at all. You know, I want to keep that. I feel that is my weapon. So, I mean, in 20, I think it was 2020, you know, after we did EcoFest 2019, massive. And, you know, December, by January, February, COVID struck.
Okay.
So, and everybody was like, oh, and then that's when everybody saw me back in chambers, you know, because the chamber is always there.
It is.
I was there, you know, clients coming, and you know, and some of my guys in entertainment started sending me messages like, you know, for the fella you, like, you know, oh, you all like you like there, you know, there is always the collateral, the practice.
Yeah.
There's a fallback position.
Absolutely.
You know, so I love that. So I mean, to answer you directly, I will always want to maintain that balance. I feel it's left with me to get into a suit tomorrow, go to court, and, you know, do litigation, or, you know, just sit in my chambers, you know, and do paperwork and get paid. But I also would. So here is the thing. So why I don't go to court regularly? Because now, as it is, I will wake up tomorrow, I receive an email, and I have to be in Accra. I'll wake up tomorrow, I receive an email, I have to be in Dubai. I'll wake up tomorrow, I have to be in the US, or I have to be in London. Because now I am sincerely a businessman. True and true, I'm an entrepreneur. True and true. Yes, I'm a lawyer, but I'm a business. I have a lot of business contacts out there. I move around, and I have a lot of business interests out there too. Legit business, doing a lot most of the time.
Okay.
So, looking back at that, imagine I have to go to court tomorrow, and I have to be in Accra. You understand? So,
Adjournment.
yes, and you know, and you can get away with it maybe once or twice, but you can't make that a way of life. So I love that liberty, the freedom, the fact that I can wake up and I am my own boss. I pay people, you know, their salaries and their dues, and everything is going on. But I also get to go about my business, you know, get my business interests. And some of these are also people who are clients outside Sierra Leone who have business interests in Sierra Leone.
Okay.
So it gives me, you know, that opportunity to move around. And so I feel also I'm leaning greatly towards motivational speaking.
Okay.
Yeah. It will amaze you, but I've been doing a lot of, you know, low-key, you know, motivational talks around. So
I think that is something perhaps that comes, as you mentioned, you know, lawyers were advocates. That's, you know, it's something that comes as second nature. Of course, there are lawyers that are not orators. I know yourself, you know, you happen to be a good orator. As I said, you're PRO of the bar, and that is, it's one of the requirements. But now I want to pigeonhole you into talking. You mentioned that you might get into the biggest, you know, disappointment in the entertainment. I mean, when we started the conversation, I said for me it was looking at that national stadium, seeing my money go down the drain, knowing that there were people that I trusted, like you said, the doyens of the entertainment industry that I thought could have guided me, you know, and it turns out these were the people who were, you know, running circles around you, and I just saw all my money go down the drain, and that was a low point. I woke up the next morning, and so when you talk about a black hole and this past December, I know that feeling. You wake up and you go, oh my God, because there's nothing. Everything is gone, you know. So I think myself, I am curious. I'm sure the viewers would be curious. Kabaka is still in this. There may be, depending on, you know, we're looking at dynamics, maybe a fourth version of EcoFest. We're looking forward to that, absolutely. But what has been that lowest point?
all right. So of course, I think it was in 2020. Maybe 2020. You know, we had the team, had Mahmoud, Rosé, Bless, Crack Twist and Samza, I Tribe,
MIC.
MIC. Yeah, I had like maybe 8 acts on the record label. One of the really great creatives was Mahmoud. When he left, there was a lot of uproar. There are a lot of stories, and I've always refrained from getting on social media to trade words or to because I always knew, like, for me, I thought like these are like my kid brothers. Mm-hmm. These are like my children, because some of them I'm older, like in excess of 10 years and stuff like that, and I always gave advice. I told them, do you know, when I had all my artists, being a lawyer, I never once put any contract on the table and said sign. It was all oral, because I told them the day you are ready to leave, you can just leave. I will never force you to stay. But this is how it's going to work. Mm-hmm. This is what will happen. I am responsible for this. Executive producer, I'll make sure I had a private studio.
Yes.
Purely, you've been there. It's
mm-hmm.
It was purely for our artists. So there are artists whose days were on Mondays, some on Tuesdays, like people like Bless, who worked or still works for Orange, was on the weekends, and stuff like that. So everyone will come, they will take their turn. So all of this was just to give my artists the comfort, mm-hmm. And I remember it was in 2000 and I think either 19, it must have been 2019. One of the artists released a song. Yeah, it was just a song, and it was actually a cover.
Okay.
And they put the KME tag on it and didn't inform me. So, and they let it out there. So I'm like, that can't happen. You have to take a decision, So I said no, because the artist has had issues like a couple of times. So it's like, that was it. But that's not the disappointment. That's not the highlight. So after EcoFest 2019, and we then COVID, I think just before the COVID, the EcoFest 2019 was a huge success in some ways, but in some other ways also we had to take a beating. I mean, I will not go into the dynamics, but yes. So we were ready to do EcoFest 2020.
Okay. Before
COVID, but we had started early preparations because we were so fired up in 2019. And Crack Twist and Samza sent a message that they wanted to leave. And I was like, no, like, not you guys. So my lowest point is not even for Crack Twist. Samza was like that young junior brother that you have, There was compassion because there were a lot of things, And I had a conversation with him, and he was like, we feel you are spending money on EcoFest, money that could be used on us, the artists. I'm like, is that the grievance? And he said, yes. And I said, DJ Box was one of my closest, it's one of my closest guys, you guys know. And they had Calbox Records. It was big, massive in Sierra Leone. And all of you saw the artists who were there, they left. Same, we've seen all these big record labels. We have people like Kingfisher, you had this, everyone that has had a massive success with artists, they've left. And I said, I will not do business the same way as others. I need a collateral. You see EcoFest, and the collateral and the entertainment industry. Because I don't need a record label to host a festival. But I need to build a brand that will be sustainable. A brand that will be recognized across Africa and the globe. So today it can be EcoFest Sierra Leone, tomorrow it can be EcoFest Ghana, it can be EcoFest Nigeria. We can move around with the brand, but we have to build it. And this is for you guys. It is a platform that we are creating. This will be a situation where you and Diamond will perform on the same stage. You and Rema on the same night. You understand? When Rema posts that I was in Sierra Leone, you also post that this is, means, because otherwise, when Rema is performing in London, you are not going to be there. So that's what this is about. So I said, go, and think about it. I was at one of my lowest points. When I mean lowest points, like lowest points in life. And I had just lost my mom. My mom was barely 56, 57 years when she died. Like literally in my arms. She collapsed in the house. And that was it. I was coming from that traumatic experience, so I feel that is the lowest point. I never imagined for once, that anybody was going to leave. So if I will say this again, like I had actually thought, that crack was always like the, the more active one, the guy who is the street smart guy. So I was like, at worst, like Stamza will always have my back. But it happened, that even when I say, I call Stamza and I say, yes, see you, we go. So for me, I feel that's the greatest pain. Ironically, all the money, yes, but when you know the grand plan, and the things you can see seated that they will never see standing up, knowing how much you've invested. So I'm asking, I'm like, Stamza, if I imagine I spent, imagine now, seated here, you've had cars that I bought, stayed in apartments that I paid for, flown around Africa on my tab, and still, you understand, like you're ready to leave now. So even if I spend $1 million on you, you still wake up tomorrow and say you want to leave. And like football, if the player says they want to leave the team and you force them to play, you will not get the results. Music is spiritual. The moment the spirit leaves, you're gone. So I'm like, yeah, that's that is it. But it actually, I wouldn't say I saw it as a betrayal, but I always consider it my lowest point, because that is when I realized that except for family, nobody's your friend.
True.
Nobody's your friend.
True.
So, and it actually really hit me so bad. So when I see a lot of people bashing me, bashing us, like they don't understand these things. It's not their money. They just see you, probably you have maybe a nice car, you move around. I try to go out like abroad to see my kids. Maybe you have fun with them. You post on Facebook, on social media, and some people are quietly hating because they can't do that. But they're not going to understand saying, that same guy in Afrabe College, we're not being even able for it. I was explaining the other day on Facebook like that there was a time I would go to our canteen and I would eat only beans. Rice and beans. Apart from the beans, because it almost doubled, the rice, because it was a plate of rice. And if I had my way, I could eat 3 plates of rice. But if I eat rice and beans, so I'll get the plate of rice and beans, and I will eat all the beans, because so you go back for plazas, and I'll go back for backup, like please, because there's no money to get the rice. That's where we're coming from, you know Canal. We had to walk down from FBC. We'll take a stroll down or take a stroll up, because then we did not even have transport fare to go up to the university or to go for lectures. I remember coming down, the smell of there's this rice. I don't not to it can never be basmati. Fen, I don't know how they call her. You know, like we ate that and sardine like the whole time. So you look at a guy like me, who nearly flunked back in college.
Yeah.
You know the story. You know,
Quite a journey, eh?
it was quite a journey, and you look at me today and you feel like I just got everything thrown on me. And do you know the funny part? I mean, I know a lot of people, I mean, definitely, you know, we don't want to talk about this. So I remember years back, a lot of people who saw us doing stuff, you know, still going places, they thought like, oh, but this is why I like political advantage you get, like, you know, like system, basically. And then when they saw that there might be a system that's not favorable to me, and still thriving, still doing things that we used to do, and probably even more. So a lot of people get confused. So they will come up with their theories again and still hate. But I'm just saying, the stories are just different, you understand? But the pain is the same. If you did today, you know able to drive motor car, you know get fine motor car. I don't dare they go church, put they dash water for me. But I will lift up my head and I'm like, God, I know you're going to give me my own car. Yes, I said those prayers. Yes, I did. So today I have a little car moving around with my family. But you get man who they drive Rolls Royce in Nigeria, in Ghana, Bentley, Bentayga. Some of them have private jets. But within a salon, I'm so rich man and no more. Like you're here and nobody wants you to progress. Like they don't even see it. One of my friends told me something years ago in Bo. I think maybe 8 to 10 years ago. I had a BMW X6. So we went to Bo and I had a construction site. We were just doing stuff and we went out, we were hanging out. And he told me, he said, do you know why I always want you to succeed? And I said, no. He said, now on my own, I can't afford to buy a BMW X6. He said, but I'm driving in one, I'm moving around. He said, if you had a private jet and you were going, you will not go alone. You understand? Davido is flying around in a private jet today and he's moving with all his friends, all these people. These are his cousins, these are his friends. If I had a private jet now, we will be doing this interview in that private jet, moving around. If you had it, it's the same. And that is my wish for everyone. But we are poor because our minds are blind. That is the fact. We are poor because our minds are blind, and nobody it's how do they call it, the crab mentality. Everybody, you want to go up, you want to get up, you know. So I keep saying this. I believe I would defy a lot of odds, because it is your job to wish me evil, but there are millions more wishing me good, wishing me well. It is your job to be jealous, but there are millions more who won't envy what I have, but they are thankful because they know it will be their turn. I know I'm here today. I know what I have done, what we've been able to do, myself, my family, and I know there are others coming after us who will do greater things.
Absolutely.
You understand? Everything. Today, Whiskey, Burner, they are all riding on the wings of people like Two-Face Idibia and Don Jazzy. They are making more money. The kind of money that people like Victor Osimhen is making. JJ Okocha, in the greatest of crafts, never saw that kind of money. Yeah. So it is what it is. It is what it is.
And I think that's perhaps is a good place to, you know, sum this up. People recognizing that yes, we went to the university. This has been a journey. And I think for me, that's the purpose of doing this. So people get to understand that you see this person here now, you see Kabaka, you see, Beloz, you see Melvick, all the people that have been, you see Binta, my friends that have been, on this with me. But it took us time to get where we are. And this is our story. This is our shared experience. And this is how we arrived at where we are. Before I let you go, I'm going to put you on the spot. And you said you are the rapper that's never got to that stage. I remember there was a day I was in this, I think I'm in your KME groups, and there's a song or there's something, and you got on one of the tracks. I think you circulated to close friends and you deleted or something. I want to see the rapper in Kabaka. What is it? What I can call an buzz? Is Kabaka going to drop a few? Now it's, I don't know, 16, 32. Because I know Kabaka is an orator. I know say if I say for talk, you go talk. Are you minded? Can I tempt you?
Well, I've been growing up, I always loved Tupac.
Okay.
Like, I almost listened to all his tracks, shaved my head or even walked the way he did. I mean, just teenage and early, adulthood stuff. So, yeah, I think I'll give a few lines from Changes.
Here we go.
And it says, I see no changes. Wake up in the morning and I ask myself, is life worth living or should I blast myself? And time I'm being poor and even worse, I'm black. My stomach hurts, so I'm looking for a pulse to snatch. Cops give a damn about the Negro. Pull the trigger, kill the nigga, he's a hero. Get it crack to the kids, to the health cares. One less ugly mouth on the welfare. Four shit and
Ogbarios delirious.
Digitata.
Thank you very much for
welcome,
sharing this story with me. Thank you very much for coming and talking with me.
Pleasure.
Some people call him ABS, some people call him Kabaka. As you have heard, we call ourselves Ogbarios delirious.
Delirious.
That's an inside joke. So
yes.
Thank you very much for
You're
being here.
Has been a pleasure. Thank you.
Now, this has been an interesting episode of Johnny's 232. We have talked about coming into adulthood, learning one thing, growing into one career, growing into one profession, diversifying, ending up doing things that are not necessarily connected but interconnected, because at the end of the day you have to create your own niche, and you have to do what you do. Sometimes there's a passion that's burning on the inside. You want to satisfy that passion. So when you have the opportunity, you seize it, you jump at it, and you do what you must do. I think the lesson there is, if you have a dream, chase that dream. Don't give up. Work hard at it, and one day it will make sense. This has been Johnny's 232. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on another episode. And remember, like, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of the episodes. Thank you.